Disclaimer! Crossing the Line is not a show intended to bully or harass anyone. Do not go out of your way to find or mess with the authors featured on our podcast. They make what we do possible, and we love them. And you. Thanks. Enjoy.
Now, why would Andre the Black Nerd call himself the Black Nerd unless he really wasn't black?
Or a nerd.
Exactly. Now, if we look closely at the pigment of Andre the Black Nerd's skin and compare it to this hex code that I got from all these different animators who draw black people, you'll notice that it doesn't match any one of them. Now, any sane person would try to say that this is strictly because the skin cones in anime aren't meant to reflect reality, but I don't want to think that way, so I'm going to make this into a real problem. So I called my associate Doug Walker over to get his opinion on whether or not Andre the Black Nerd is truly white, seeing as they have collabed at least twice now. And he had this to say. Now, I don't know if Andre the Black Nerd is, black. However, the last time I ate garlic, it made my teeth slightly off color. So if he were to just eat a whole lot of garlic, I would assume that eventually it would take hold of his cells and eventually he would turn black.
How much do you think a cameo from the Nostalgia Critic would cost?
Too much.
Nostalgia Critic would say, "Now, I've never met Andre in person. I just read the lines and they splice us together. In fact,
Green screen.
In fact, I probably wouldn't have to talk to him, or wouldn't want to talk to him, if I had the option. Your question is unrelated."
He doesn't even answer the question. Oh.
That was his cameo.
Oh. Oh my god.
I'm trying to bake a cake right now, and two of the primary ingredients are Mountain Dew Voodoo and Reese's Fast Breaks. They've been blended into the cake. It's really not setting, so if I walk away from the mic occasionally, it's because I'm checking on that, and that's because it's a birthday cake for one of our hosts. Not Blueberry, you saw his cake on the internet. It's for G-Pool. Happy birthday. Today's episode is Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius.
You fucking laugh like it's an insult.
Like a radio. Happy birthday, Hank.
Happy birthday,
Eat
So-
this soda cake filled with a full bottle of Mountain Dew.
I'm excited.
It's on the way. Without further ado, what's everybody's experience with Jimmy
I
Neutron?
don't want to talk about experience with Jimmy Neutron. Can we just say favorite characters? Because I'm going to say Hugh Neutron.
I watched it when it was on. I thought it was fine, but I'm sure the animation has aged very poorly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all you have to say.
It is what it is. It's CG from early 2000s. Enough said.
I will say the theme song to Planet Sheen is the worst theme song for any TV show I've ever heard in my life.
Why is that? Do you know how to recreate it?
I cannot, literally, because it's like a backing track with a song that sometimes comes in, but also just like sound bites from the show, and then Sheen like dubbing it in his voice with just like stuff. He's like, eh. He's like him reacting to the song, like talking about what's going on screen occasionally. But it wasn't even edited, it's just like a single take dub.
Sheen reacts.
It sounds horrible.
Remember when they made the Cleveland show?
Yes.
It's kind of like that.
No, it's not that good.
Yeah.
The Cleveland show's also not good. But
Thank
Planet
you.
Sheen is not that good.
The Cleveland show is not good, but of the turds, it is the smaller one.
I can't believe their audacity to just... I mean, I guess I can. Rehash the same family. I was gonna say they're all just the same, but I guess at least like the older girl is like... She's competent, right? She's not just a
Who?
punching bag for the dad.
Who?
Roberta.
Cleveland's daughter.
Oh, we're talking about Cleveland. I thought we were talking about Jimmy Neutron for a minute.
Yeah, I can't believe they had the audacity to make a second Carl in Planet Sheen and his Sheen-shaped house.
Seriously. Wait, what?
You missed that.
He has a Sheen-shaped house.
Yes.
That's upsetting.
It's shaped
I
like
don't
his
like that
head.
his lower jaw is overlapping his upper jaw.
He doesn't have a jaw.
Our video in the background on Zero Volume today is playlist of Planet Sheen videos, mostly 3 videos and 240p. just nothing. Over 200 of that.
Good lord.
Anyways, I guess that leaves nothing but who would like to go first.
Let's see, who went
Everybody
first last
pull
time?
out your devices.
I don't remember. I picked up my stories a long time in advance because it's been a while since we've recorded, and I don't remember what they were, but I'm sure they are hilarious.
Well, let's see.
I've got so many Ben 10 ones saved still.
I wouldn't mind going first.
Fine,
Okie doke.
go first.
Okay. Being a boy genius isn't easy. My name is Jimmy Neutron. I've gone on many adventures, so when I decided to go exploring the sea, nothing seemed strange about it. I've done it several times in the past, but this was no ordinary adventure. I met some extraordinary friends. It all started when I was talking with Sheen. Jimmy's point of view. And that's why Ultralord is the meaning of the universe, yelled Sheen. Whatever you say, Sheen, said Jimmy. School is over. Summer was starting. Inventing season is on. I could go to space. Visit Timmy Turner's dimension and his holograms. However, I'm not 100% convinced they are holograms now. Prank Cindy. I had started repairing the old sub that we used to raise the oozy scab last month. I think Bikini Atoll would be good to visit. I could study the effects of radiation on sea creatures. I don't think I should tell Carl and Sheen that, though. I should finish it up later. After Jimmy finished the sub, he called his friends. Carl, come here now, Jimmy shouted. But Jimmy, I have to go to the Llama and Alpaca convention, he replied. That can wait. Okay, Jimmy.
Now, Carl.
Sheen, want to go on an adventure? Jimmy asked. But the Ultralord Spectacular is starting in 125 days, Sheen replied. That can wait.
What can't wait?
Jimmy's such an asshole. He's just absconding his friends' lives.
Ordering them around.
Fine, but if I miss the intro, I ultra blame you, Sheen shouted. But unknown to Jimmy, Cindy was spying on him. So, Jimmy thinks he can go to some fancy pants sub and make himself popular, whispered Cindy.
Go to some sub. His sub that he owns.
Oh,
You
God.
know, there's a podcast on now.
Okay.
Just an actual,
This is
Oh.
an actual podcast.
not this one, another one.
Another one on 0 volume in the background.
Put it on, we can collab.
That's how collabs work.
It is to Joey.
We've invited hashtag the recast on to our show today.
We'll be playing their episode
Say-
from 4 years ago on one
say
volume.
Hi, say hi, guys. Jimmy Neutron is so cool. Thanks. We'll get more input from you later.
Oh my God. Cindy decided to get on the phone and call Libby. Libby, shouted Cindy. Jimmy's making some fancy invention to get popular. Are you sure? Besides, I don't want to get dragged into some crazy adventure again. Be at Jimmy's by 5. At Jimmy's house, Jimmy and his friends were checking out the submarine. And this is the Neutronian Submarine Mark II, or NSM-2 for short. It's still being tested, but it's ready to go. Suddenly Cindy and Libby arrived. Hey, Nerdtron, you better let us come, shouted Cindy, or else. Fine, said Jimmy. My friend said we have to go back my dinner. I've installed a cable on my hovercraft so we can load the sub on a cart and take it to the docks. And they were off.
Hold on. I love this idea of Jimmy at a dock working on a submarine, and then Cindy walks up out of nowhere and pushes him onto the ground, and he skins his knees, and he's like, ow! And she's like, hey nerd.
You're gonna let us on your submarine.
And he's like, oh, funny to see you at the docks 10 miles away from school at this hour. She's like, let us on your dumbass invention, idiot. Pushes him
She's
over.
just rubbing her foot on the small of his back.
I don't suppose I have a choice.
Jimmy's like super mean to his friends, but also a total pushover.
They're not helping
He's
him because he's
pussy
such an
whipped.
asshole.
He's pussy whipped and he has to take it out on his weaker friends.
Sheen, help. That can wait, Jimmy.
Yeah, they can wait, Jimmy.
Sheen is not a redneck.
Beat his ass.
Honestly, I'd imagine him as such.
That's why he wears the same shirt every day.
They all wear the same shirt every day.
For Sheen, it's not a choice.
He has one Ultra Lord t-shirt.
But Jimmy, I have to wash my clothes. That can wait.
My one pair of clothes.
They're so stinky.
Everyone's making fun of me, Jimmy. That can wait.
They have every reason to, Sheen.
I know, isn't it funny? It's almost like I made it that way.
Hi, Jimmy. He smells. I don't want to be friends with him anymore. Wow.
Let's see. At the docks, Jimmy loaded the coordinates into the sub and got ready. I'm captain, Jimmy said proudly.
Sheen, you guard the food stores to make sure no one eats more than their fill.
Carl, you guard the life jackets. Libby, you man the engine.
Jimmy, you know more about the engine than anyone.
He's captain.
And Cindy, you watch the radar and take over if I die.
Uh-huh.
So I just shovel coal, asked Libby.
Yes, replied Jimmy. Only stop if the pressure is in the red on that meter. Now then, if there's no interruptions, let's go. And they were off. Chapter 2, Submarine Adventure. The engines of the submarine roared as Libby shoveled coal in the back room. The oxygen-producing machines hummed as they made air to feed the flames. Slowly, the sub started moving away from the docks. A few people watched as the sub picked up speed and slowly disappeared. Jimmy slowly piloted the sub out to sea. They passed seaweed and rocks until they were deep into the sea. After about 20 minutes, Jimmy spoke. "All right, guys," Jimmy yelled. "I set the autopilot to travel our route for 45 minutes at 30 knots. The feeder in the boiler room will fuel the..."
Jimmy,
asked Carl. "Yes, Carl," Jimmy replied.
what do knots have to do with speed?
Knots are a speed used on boats. 30 knots is 55.56 kilometers an hour.
Jimmy! Screams she. This is the USA! We use miles! He is a redneck. Holy shit. Oh my god.
34.523383 miles an hour, Sheen, Jimmy replied. Anyway, I was saying we have a 40-minute break before we have to keep working. At the break room, everyone was chatting. Ultralord created the universe, Sheen said. He used his powers to make it so in 1987, someone would make a cartoon in his honor.
Okay, this is an everyone thing. On a count of 3, we say, "We get it, Sheen. You've told us 1,000,000 times." Alright, 1, 2, 3. We get it, Sheen! You've told us 1,000,000 times! Alright, I get it, said Sheen. But when Ultralord comes down to start a new universe, he won't spare you!
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Sheen's a Mormon.
Hey Libby, have you seen the latest fashion trends? Cindy asked. Yeah, it's so sweet, replied Libby.
Joseph Sheen wrote the testament from Ultralord.
Sheen's laying down the fucking prophetic law on these fools, and they can just talk about trends.
Sheen's parents gave him one t-shirt and that became his identity. Now it's his whole religion.
One toy line.
Sheen's telling everyone under the sea how the Indians were cursed by God to have red skin.
Cursed by Ultralord.
It was all part of Ultralord's plan.
Sorry, that's my Mormon joke of the day.
Oh my god.
I'll be back with another one real soon.
I hope I get it home in time for dinner, Carl said. Don't be a baby, Carl, Cindy shouted. Everyone, yelled Jimmy, lunchtime.
It's like 5 o'clock.
Cindy, here's your burger, said Jimmy.
Here's your uncooked burger.
he doesn't even wear gloves, he just hands him a fucking raw beef in his hand. Libby and Carl, your tacos are ready. No meat on yours, Carl. Sheen, here's...
Why?
It all got squeezed into a ball for the burger.
Cindy gets your meat.
Burger.
Sheen, here's your pizza, and I'll also have a burger.
Cooked, of course.
Thanks, Jimmy. Oh, wait. Thanks, Jimmy, Carl replied. I'm allergic to beef.
Well, you know that now.
Jeez. Oh my god, I need pizza! Screamed Sheen. Ugh. Thanks, Jim. It says yum, but I didn't want to say that. Thanks, Jim, Libby said politely. Thanks, Neutron, I guess, he said quietly.
That's Neutron, I guess.
I like it better that it says quietly, but she actually says it loud enough to be heard. Everyone, yelled Jimmy, dig in. After finishing their meal, everyone got back to work. In the emergency room, Carl was guarding the life jackets.
Standing alone in a black room with a red flashing light. Every 2 seconds his face gets illuminated with a bright red light and flashes back off.
It's just a JPEG of his model with like a red light filter going on and off.
You just hear the alien ship sounds going.
It was a scary time for Carl.
A scary time for Carl spotting.
Libby was not given a shovel and was shoveling coal by hand.
Get
She's
to work.
not working.
Libby,
You're not going anywhere.
Libby, you're in charge of the engine. No, don't I get a shovel? Tools for you? I need them. I'm captain.
What do you need them for up there?
Captaining.
I'm the captain. Don't worry about it. None of your business.
None of your business, Libby. If you give me lip like that again, you are going overboard in this sub.
We're like so many thousand leagues under the sea with so much pressure surrounding us. Your life is at stake if anything goes wrong. It's none of your business, Libby.
If I die, it's your fault, Libby.
If Sydney takes over, it's your fault.
Then you'll all die.
It's in the captain's contract that if I die by your hands, Libby, she has to forfeit her friendship with you once and for all. Oh, I hope I don't mess up, said Carl. Suddenly, Carl's tummy grumbled. Oh, where's the bathroom? Carl looked around and saw a door. Emergency exit, Carl read. This is an emergency. As he opened the door, water flooded in.
That's how the story ended, huh?
The life jackets! The room with the life jackets is the first to get flooded. It's horrible.
It wouldn't matter. It would fill up so fast because of the pressure.
It's a 4-person story.
The water bursting through the door would have killed Carl. It would have busted his head off.
It's true, it would have shattered his arm in the door when it slammed open.
I'm just imagining Gary's mod of Carl, this little portly boy, getting blasted off his feet by water.
No, you're rewinding the discussion.
How am I doing? Oh my god. Oh, it's behind you. Okay.
God.
Oh, rip.
Ah.
Ugh. As he opened the door, water flooded in. Thankfully, he closed it before it was too late.
Yeah, fucking right. Carl with one hand and his arm like 6 feet wide, bulging with veins, slams the door.
1 pound! But it was too late. The life jackets were gone. Carl quickly cleaned up and hid the towels under the sink. Then he found the real bathroom. Suddenly Jimmy entered. Carl quickly ran in front of the jacket holder. Carl, we're here.
The jacket holder.
Chapter 3, Radioactive Risk.
Oh no. Where's the crossover?
That's what I'm saying. Alright, slowly everyone headed towards the front of the sub. Alright everyone, shouted Jimmy, please grab a lead-lined wetsuit and proceed onto the island. Everyone walked out of the sub. This is Bikini Atoll, a series of islands which in the 40s and 50s was used by the government to test nuclear weapons. Wait, what? Shouted Cindy. Anyway, please follow me onto the picnic site.
Picnic site in this radioactive wasteland.
Jimmy, why did we go here?
We could have gone anywhere.
Why did you build a submarine for this? We could have used a boat. Carl almost killed us.
It was an emergency.
We needed to sub to avoid government detection. To go to this forbidden island.
Everybody went to the picnic site and had a snack. Meanwhile, Jimmy went to get radiation readings.
Are they like in wetsuits or what's going on?
They're in lead-lined wetsuits.
Okay.
So, yes. Let's see.
Gross.
Yeah, that sounds...
Skin tight
Skin
outfits
tight
on those
lead
models.
wet.
Yeah, that sounds
Skin tight
terrible.
Carl.
Oh, God.
Oh, crime scene investigation versus He Went Hadaway.
Oh, shit.
They're discussing Jimmy Neutron versus Planet Sheen episodes.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
I hope you like this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe.
Please rape, comment, and subscribe.
No.
Please buy away, comment, subscribe.
Buy away, comment, subscribe.
Please watch Linkara instead.
If you like this video, leave a nasty comment on the first Spoonie video you watch.
Oh no.
The super healthy, sterile, no crunch bar is tasty, moaned Carl.
Moan.
Sugar! More sweet! Yelled Sheen.
You're gonna sound like a maniac.
That's how he sounds to me. I think I gained 5 pounds, complained Cindy.
Oh, I'm complaining about everything. You dumb bitch.
Where's Jimmy? Asked Libby. I don't know, replied Carl.
Where is Jimmy? That's a good question.
Guys, I'm back, stated Jimmy. Say goodbye to the island.
Okay.
What?
Oh, we just got here 20 minutes ago, replied Libby and Carl. You see, the lead in your suits only protects against high radiation levels for 30 minutes and... Okay, let's go. No time, got to go, said everyone except Jimmy. They boarded the sub and headed to their stations. Goodbye, island, and they sailed away. And that's the end.
That's the end?
That's the fucking end.
What
That's
was
the
crossover?
story?
This was supposed to be SpongeBob.
Must be the Bikini Bottom's now radiated.
I guess that's like the real name of the island that they show in the show or something. Bikini Atoll.
I guess.
I don't know. Now I'm looking it up because that makes me mad.
It makes me mad. I rate that story mad out of 10.
Hold on, there was a crossover there somewhere. We just have to think about what it was. Where was the crossover?
Carl crossed over with the water in the ocean.
Carl crossed over with the afterlife for 1 second.
before his body went into fight or flight mode and slammed the door against 6,000 pounds of pressure.
His adrenaline pumped through his veins and he lifted 30,000 times his weight and pressure.
All of the muscles in his body tore in one instance.
And yet he managed to get to his feet just to pretend like nothing happened.
And then Jimmy walked into the room and was like, "Are you okay, Carl?" He's like,
we good on life jackets, Carl?
He's suffering from atrophy.
"That's him." And it's like a creepypasta claymation of Carl with red veins.
Covered in red veins. He can't move his arms at all.
Oh my god.
They're like outside at the picnic area and his arms are just flat against his side. So aching and shaking.
Like My Hero Academia destroyed all the muscles in his arms.
Your crooked arms will be a reminder for you, Carl.
I can't heal an injury this bad again, Carl. Even with all my science powers.
If you don't learn to control your adrenaline strength, you'll never have arms again.
With all the fight or flight situations he gets put in.
He is a very skittish kid. Oh my god, imagine him at like the entrance exam and he punches the giant level 0. Oh my god.
Making that dumb face. But it's a bad 3D model.
He has to fight for the planet at some point, so he's like out of fingers, so he uses his damn fat cheek.
Shooting blasts of pressure out of his fingers.
Against Jimmy, who has machines that use fire and ice.
And Sheen has explosive power.
Oh god.
We're rating our own crossover because that one didn't have any.
Exactly. Jimmy fucking just fires a pistol at Carl and he has to use his goddamn adrenaline to deflect it.
You think you can keep up with me? You damn nerd! Die! Sheen tells Carl to die so many times. with his lack of chin.
I'm imagining him like flying through the air in that signature pose he does, but he has no chin, so it's just his mouth on model.
With big grenades on his arms, except they're like the Mario 64 tree trick. So they're always facing the same way no matter what angle you look at them.
I mean, Ultra Lord does kind of have Bakugo arms already.
Oh my god, you're right.
Just be Ultra Lord.
That's true.
Okay, now I have to go next because of the one that he picked.
Oh, good.
An ice blue van slowly drove by the poster cleaner. "What the fuck?" Mr. Clean said, smiling angrily.
Smiling.
What the fuck?
Jimmy Neutron slowly rolled down the window to reveal his luscious eyes. Hey boy, Jimmy smirked, steadily heading to Alaska to meet my future bae, he shouted. "Oh," Mr. Clean started screaming really loud. "Is bae who I think it is?" He said, squeezing his arm. "Yes, bitch," Jimmy said as he rolled up his window and started playing some Blondie as he drove off. So I guess Jimmy rolled up in a van and then found Mr. Clean on the street. I don't really know how that played out. This is written pretty crazy. And then Jimmy rolled away. Mr. Clean said, "Oh my god, good luck," waving really fast. Jimmy was so ready. His crystal clear eyes, white, were tearing up just thinking about SpongeBob's beautiful face. Then suddenly, Jimmy tipped over his fruit punch. His children's place jeans were ruined. "Ugh," Jimmy said. "What the fuck am I gonna do now?" But then Jimmy realized he was right next to the laundromat, so he parked his fresh ride and went inside. Jimmy was washing his pants. They were swirling so fast, he was pretty excited.
Standing there in his briefs.
You gotta get him clean, get the punch off.
His tiny ass jeans.
He's wearing underwear in the laundromat because that's his only pair of pants.
He was watching them swirl, and then somebody walked up and said, "Hola, tipo." "What the fuck?" Jimmy Neutron said, screaming loud. Then he realized it was Canada's biggest drug dealer, Dora the Explorer. Jimmy's mom always told him not to do drugs, so he said, always told him not to do drugs. She said, "Donde you headed? I saw your cool van outside." She whispered into the chair.
I hate that. Donde you
Donde you headed? Vamios.
This is so painstaking. There's like no words spelled correctly in this entire thing.
Sounds about right.
"The chair are going meet up with to SpongeBob?" Jimmy said, taking his pants out of the washing machine. "Cool, hope you had fun. If he doesn't find out," she said, lighting a Marlboro ciggy. "Ooh," Jimmy said, zipping his fly. I like that Jimmy took his pants out of the wash and didn't dry them.
They're clean.
I mean, for now. Till they get moldy from not being dry.
Oh, the
Yeah.
moldy breeze on the inside of his 3D layer.
Oh.
Oh.
She said, "Have fun and tweet the deets." "Okay," Jimmy said, then walking out into his van on his way to Starbucks, Alaska. Jimmy was finally there. He went inside and pissed himself. There he was, SpongeBob. He had beautiful long eyelashes. They were probably
just
so...
cleaned his pants
I guess he just like went to Alaska.
to find his bae.
He had beautiful long eyelashes that were soaked with Maybelline mascara and bright eyes the color of Windows 98 background and hot skinny legs. "Oh my God," SpongeBob said, holding his green tea frappuccino. "SpongeBob," Jimmy said, hugging Bob tightly. To be continued. It said Starbucks, Alaska, but there's 6 more chapters.
Oh.
It said Starbucks, Alaska, but it seems like they're also in Starbucks, so I don't know if they're in Starbucks or Alaska.
They're in both. The Starbucks is in Alaska.
Starbucks.
But Jimmy drove there.
Yeah.
SpongeBob drove Jimbo to his apartment, forgetting that his evil dad Barney was there. SpongeBob suddenly smelled a familiar smell, the smell of Mary Jane. "Jimmy, it's okay." Why? What happened?" Jimmy asked, because he didn't know about Barney. "My dad is super strict, but he's high at the moment, so he won't notice that what we're doing upstairs," SpongeBob said as he swaggered into his room. "Okay," Jimmy yelled, and they started making out really violently. "Okay."
Oh boy.
"Oh my God," Jimmy said loudly as he rubbed his ear against SpongeBob's short. SpongeBob then started ruffling Neutron's hair, it's spelled Butrons, Neutron's hair softly and kissing his nostrils. Suddenly, they heard the door open. "What the fuck is this?" Barney said because he wasn't high anymore. "Get out of my house."
Which Barney?
He got that out of his system really fast.
It's really important that I know which Barney this is.
True. Is it Rubble or the dinosaur?
It's Barney within SpongeBob's life. I don't know. Let's assume it's Barney from the Flintstones. It's funny. What the fuck is this? Get out of my house, Barney said really angrily as Jimmy ran all the way back to California crying. SpongeBob had tears running down his face. "Dad," SpongeBob said. "Daddy," SpongeBob said. Barney lifted his fist and hit SpongeBob in the face, told him to pray to Jesus. SpongeBob cried. The next day, SpongeBob logged in to talk to Jimmy online.
Barney fucking got him on side, knocked him off his feet.
"My
Jimmy
dad is high
drove
again."
From California to Alaska.
I mean, I'm sure there are cities in the U.S. named Alaska. I don't know. Let's assume it's real Alaska. I mean, you could have driven there. Just be a long drive for Canada.
Mm-hmm.
My dad is high again, SpongeBob typed. Okay, but what if he finds us, Jimmy replied. He won't, because I'm running away. Mr. Clean has a room for us. I planned it through him with FaceTime. My dad won't notice I'm gone because he's high AF. SpongeBob signed off and put the computer in his bag. He jumped out the window and started running. The sound of Barney's laughter could be heard as SpongeBob ran. He would soon be with his love again. To be continued. Chapter 4. Jimmy walked into Mr. Clean's house. Wow, this house is cool, Jimmy exclaimed.
I thought he was going to say this house is clean.
Yeah. Cool is spelled C-O-L-I, so I'm guessing it's cool. It could be clean.
This house is coli.
Yeah, I do it to attract the ladies, Mr. Clean said. I'm going to show you your room. Barney will never find you. So Mr. Clean led Jimmy to the room. It was cool, too.
Everyone's afraid of Barney.
You're gonna punch the fuck out of Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean led Jimmy to the room. It was cool, too. It had red walls and a nice TV. It also had a dirty mattress that smelled like pee on the floor. It's perfect, Jimmy said, hugging Mr. Clean. I know. SpongeBob should be here tomorrow. Alaska's really far away, you know.
He's
Jimmy...
Mr. Clean. Why is
An all-red room with a piss-stained mattress on the floor and a TV. Yeah.
Is this like the dirty room where he puts all the dirt?
That's where his secrets lie.
With equal exchange. For that much of a clean house, you need to have a dirt room. Mr. Clean was really nervous, though. His girlfriend Dora was coming. Dora was a cool Hispanic drug dealer. She was too cool for school, so she dropped out. Dora is now 22, but looks 34 because of all the cool cigarettes. You know my girlfriend, right? Mr. Clean told Jimmy. No, what the fuck? Jimmy was surprised. Dora the Explorer is my girlfriend. She's coming here soon, but she's in a doctor's appointment, Mr. Clean said, scratching his bald head nervously. Oh, Jimmy met her earlier while he was in the washing machine. SpongeBob was tired and decided to hitchhike there. He held his thumb up. Suddenly a Ferrari rolled up. Where are you headed? The person asked.
Running all the way to California.
Said, I'm ready. The person asked, where are you going? He said, Mr. Clean's house. SpongeBob said nervously. Oh, I'm going there too. I'm his girlfriend. She opened the door and let SpongeBob inside, and they started driving there to the sound of Snoop Dogg's gin and juice. Oh, I'm stressed, she said, smoking. SpongeBob said...
I'm stressed.
Blowing smoke onto Mr. Clean and making him fucking freak out.
SpongeBob said, What? Why? She said, Well, the doctor told me that I'm pregnant. Oh my god, SpongeBob yelled. Chapter
And she's
5.
still smoking.
Apparently.
It's her career.
Yeah, she's got to keep up with the product.
It's not a career.
I thought she was smoking cigarettes. The doorbell rang. Oh, there is my baby, Mr. Clean said as he opened the door very slowly. There was Dora, with a cigarette in her hand, and next to her was SpongeBob, really sweaty. Sponge! Jimmy screamed as he jumped into SpongeBob's skinny arms. Hey, babe, SpongeBob replied. SpongeBob carried Jimmy Neutron to their room, where they watched The Real Housewives of New Jersey for 4 hours, having a short makeout session during commercial breaks because they were really happy to see each other.
But not as happy to see real housewives.
Of New Jersey. After 12 episodes, one season, they heard the door open. Hola, muchachos, Dora said, running her fake nails through her hair, which she treated to a Brazilian blowout. I gotta distract Mr. Clean from the fact that I'm prego. He didn't take the news good, she said. So I'm taking y'all to my squad hangout. Dora had a group of friends with her, which she spent a lot of time with, smoking and doing drugs. What the fuck, you're pregnant? Neutron said really loud. Yeah, the doctor told me. Anyways, let's head to the hangout. I gotta try to do an accent for her in the future. They arrived to a club called Cool Rash. It said closed, but Dora made the special knock, and the squad got in. There they were. Tinky Winky, the coolest, most radical bartender who owned 500 pairs of sunglasses and always drank martinis while on the job. The best Teletubby. Next was Winnie the Pooh. He was a cool, chill old friend. You can always go out in times of trouble. These guys were the coolest. They hung around with Dora in strip joints and stuff. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Hey Dora, Tinky Winky said, loudly.
Tinky Winky.
Yeah, who's that? Pooh asked, clueless. This is Jimmy and SpongeBob, the power couple. I'm gonna do that voice for Dora.
Your protagonist voice.
They be hiding from Barney. SpongeBob's... No, that's too hard. I don't like that.
Somebody I don't know.
They be hiding from Barney. SpongeBob's pothead daddy, she said, lighting a ciggy anyways. I came here to tell you. The Mr. Clean got me prego, she said while she cried blood. OMG, Tinky Winky said. How is he taking it? You guys aren't even married. Well, I've been prego 5 times before and aborted all of them, but I think this is the one, guys.
The Teletubbies don't talk.
Dora said loudly. Wow, okay.
It's like the Transformers movie where Bumblebee talks through the radio, but it's just scrambled TV shows on his stomach.
Oh my god, that's a good idea. Fucking YouTube poops together a sentence.
Oh, actually, it was Pooh who said, "Wow, okay, cool. So you all want to play Dance Dance Revolution?" Pooh asked, and then they all said, "Sweet," in unison.
Sweet.
Pooh.
Just imagine the way you're making Pooh sound. I'm imagining him with like an earring and tattoos and shit.
Yeah, he's scummy.
He's got Mario's tribal tattoo.
Pooh was the Fact Dance Revolution master. He was so good nobody could best him. Suddenly the phone rang. Tinky Winky picked up. Hello? Help, the green dinosaur is in the house. Barney found us. You guys have to hurry, Mr. Clean said through the phone. So it is the dinosaur. Dora, Tinky Winky, Pooh, Jimmy, SpongeBob all got in the Ferrari and headed to the apartment.
I'm still going to imagine it's Barney Rubble, though.
Same.
I will
It's
do...
funnier as a short man with a big temper.
You're right. It's Barney Rubble.
I'll never forget when he punched Jimmy.
He punched SpongeBob in
When he
the
punched CM Punk Rock.
Or wait, was it Jimmy?
No, it was SpongeBob. You're right. Oh my god.
They had a mega showdown. Okay. They heard loud screams. Barney was trying to kill Mr. Clean. Pooh, Winky, and Dora all took out their pocket knives and went in. They had a big showdown while Jimmy and SpongeBob held each other. Suddenly, SpongeBob heard Barney scream. Barney was dead? Is he breathing? Mr. Clean said, hyperventilating. No, sorry, SpongeBob, Tinky Winky said with a bloody tear down his face.
It took 4 of them to take him down.
It's okay. I wanted to get him out of my life anyway, SpongeBob replied, standing up really cool like. Oh, cool guys, but how will we hide the body? Pooh asked, licking his fingers. They stabbed him with pocket knives.
Oh my god.
They all just...
Barney had blood everywhere, and it was staining Mr. Clean's carpet. Darn, Mr. Clean said very loudly.
Into the dirt room with this carpet.
Just announcing him. Darn.
My white carpet. Calm down, man, whispered Pooh. We have to hide the body. 2 hours later, they got tired of dragging. Tinky Winky came up with a splendid plan. Guys, I think I know where to take this, Tinky Winky said, sweating. He took out his iPhone 6 Plus, which had one of those really cool covers that had glitter on it. Hey, Thomas, Tinky Winky...
Say iPhone
hey.
6?
6 Plus.
Oh god.
Okay.
Jimmy Neutron movie commercial. Take one.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Neutron, here to tell you about my movie coming out this Christmas. Ah!
The cake is a lie.
I like
The
the
cake
idea.
is a lie.
The cake is a lie. I like the idea that Barney Rubble was like King Kong and they had to riddle him with holes in order for him to even be remotely damaged.
A bunch of holes in his caveman Swansea.
Short ass man.
So Tinky Winky calls Thomas. And then Pooh and Tinky Winky knew how effed up Thomas the train was. He was a punk with a list of crimes and an impressive coffee mug collection. Tinky Winky thought that Thomas was the guy to hit up. After a while of dragging, they finally got to Thomas's crib. Nobody saw them because it was like 6 a.m. and everyone was sleeping. "Wow, this place is squeaky clean," Mr. Clean yelled, because he had an obscure clean fetish, which is another reason why his relationship with Dora is questionable. "Howdy, Tinky Winks," Thomas said angrily. Tinky Winky looked at his hot blue body. "I need to ask you a favor. This is payback from that one time in World War II," he sweated. "Are you kidding me? You know I'm busy," Thomas said, with tears coming out of his eyes. "Come on, man. For Dipsy," Tinky Winky said, and everyone else, except Pooh, kind of, was like super confused because Pooh was Tinky Winky's main homie, so he knew about Thomas and the war. Nobody else not even Dora knew about this Thomas guy. "Okay," Thomas said as he looked at the floor. I need you to hide this body in one of your carts till it rots," Tinky Winky said slightly
Here's the
quietly.
train.
Puts it in his train cart and it just rots into ash. Tinky Winky said quietly because the sun was coming out. "Oh, gee, Tinky. What the fuck, you murdered somebody?" Thomas said really grossed out. "Yeah, it was self-defense."
Oh my god.
Tinky Winky, the tallest, most imposing Teletubby.
Jesus.
"Yeah, it was self-defense."
We know what he keeps in that damn purse now. Jesus Christ.
I couldn't take that. They said it was self-defense. They all ran in and stabbed him in a group.
He was helpless.
He was killing Mr. Clean.
I mean, Mr. Clean seems fine.
I was
He's
about
dead.
to- Not to say, I think Mr. Clean was exaggerating a little bit.
You saw what he did to SpongeBob? Who knows what he would have done to Mr. Clean if no one stepped in?
It does have a short fuse, you're right.
Tinky Winky yelled and everyone nodded in agreement as it turned out into super brutal headbanging. "Okay, fine," Thomas said, with the help of all the other homies except Jimmy and SpongeBob because they thought a revamped train station was pretty gross for some cool sexy role-playing. After the couple was done, they went into each other's arms. "I know we only known each other for 2 days, Jimbo." Every word in that sentence was spelled wrong. "But we've been through so much that I'm ready. I'm ready for our life." And then they kissed, but they were interrupted by Mr. Clean. "Hey, y'all, we hid the body." Everyone jumped aggressively, and they were prepared to go back home on Thomas's back. So, when they got to Mr. Clean's mansion or apartment, everyone was ready to take a snooze. "Thank you for everything, man," Tinky Winky and Pooh fist bumped Thomas. "You're welcome, guys. Thank you so much," Thomas said, and then he flew back to his crib. The next morning, Mr. Clean woke up SpongeBob and Jimmy, who were intertwined together. "I think it's safe to say you guys can get your own place now. To be continued." The end. Oh wait, there's one more chapter. I
Oh
lied.
my
Oh my god.
It said the end. I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's okay.
It's been 6 months since Jimmy Neutron and SpongeBob moved in together. They lived in an apartment, really small and smelly, but to them it was the dream come true. The thing was, they hadn't talked to Mr. Clean or the gang ever since they moved in. Jimmy and SpongeBob were so in love that they never noticed. But why didn't they receive a call or a text or even a Facebook message? What happened? Did the bar close down? Did Mr. Clean get his house dirty? Nobody knew. "These have been the best 6 months ever," Jimmy said to SpongeBob. And yeah, this is just nothing from here on out, so it's fine.
I feel as if Jimmy was the least prominent character in that
I was about
story.
to say, the only characters I was thinking about were Tinky Winky, Barney, and Mr. Clean.
Jimmy was there. He's one of the 2 main characters.
Yeah,
He didn't do anything.
I mean,
He drove to Alaska, fled out of fear, and then hung out with his boyfriend.
and then helped in the premeditated murder of Barney Rubble.
He didn't help.
It was self-defense.
I rate that story 12 stab wounds out of 10.
I rate that story 1 angular, heavy-handed black eye from Barney Rubble to a child.
I rate that really
To a sponge. You had to hit him so hard to make him bruise.
I I rate that at least 12 angle shots of Barney Rubble hitting the ground after succumbing to his wounds.
Just the thought of making a living sponge bruise. You'd have to give quite the haymaker
Seriously.
to make that happen.
Oh my god.
Barney walks into the room rubbing his eyes that are red.
Barney Rubble just got really
He's like,
close.
what the fuck is this?
Well, he stumbles in half high, sees his son, quote unquote, with another boy, and it just explodes in anger and screams as he lets everything loose.
Boom!
Just knocks SpongeBob to the floor in an instant.
His key flame grows with every yell.
What a story.
That was pretty good.
That was.
Okay. Here's one more for you. Life in Retroville. For Jimmy Neutron, he always thought that life in Retroville was just fine for him. And after all, he is a very smart kid and has a lab in his backyard, and he also has Goddard, his loyal pet, and he also has Carl and Sheen as his best friends, and of course he would usually have a problem with Cindy, and let's just say they have problems between the both of them. Oh,
One
and
of these.
you know I know how to pick them. Oh, and yes, sometimes his inventions go awry, and he would take the blame for it. So really, he was once a kid who would like to invent, and he didn't mind that at all. But what he didn't know was that a war was coming between him and another boy who would have the ability to ask for wishes.
Oh no.
Life in Dimsdale. Meanwhile, in the town of Dimsdale, there lived Timmy Turner, who was just like an ordinary kid. That was until he met Wanda and Cosmo, his Fairly Odd parents, and then came Poof, and well, they would enjoy life together. Hey, they're Fairly Godparents, not Odd Parents. That's just the name of the show.
Yeah.
Of course, since Timmy has Fairly Odd Parents, he can ask for wishes, and well, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And let's
Sometimes
just
their
say it
parents
can
say
work
no.
and sometimes it doesn't.
George, now that you've pointed out that they refer to them as odd parents, it's really infuriating.
Sometimes they have parents and sometimes they don't. So really, it's a mixed relationship in a way, and really, he doesn't mind that at all. Now, you would think that life for the both of them would be just fine, right? Well, that's what they once thought, because what came next would change their lives forever and would start a civil war, and once that would come, there would be no going back from it. Holy shit.
Damn.
This is so...
You gotta learn to paraphrase as you read. What, does Jimmy Neutron say that certain people should count for 3/4 of a vote during Civil War?
No. Rip Cindy Vortex.
No! What happened?
It all began when Timmy wanted to fall in love with Cindy Vortex. Jimmy somewhat doubted her, and Jimmy became aware of this. So he wanted to stop that before it was too late.
Wait, place bets, who's gonna kill her?
It's gonna be an accident.
It's gonna be Sheen.
It's gonna be Timmy. He's gonna say, if I can't have her, nobody can. I wish she was dead.
I wish she was dead. The rules don't apply in parallel dimensions.
Don't worry, I won't affect our timeline. It's
I
fine.
hope there's a rule that says you can't just wish she's dead.
I wish
There
Jordan
is,
Buck's
but
was
not
dead.
in Retroville. The rules don't apply in different dimensions.
Oh my god.
And what came during it would be the biggest mistake of both of their lives. It all began when Jimmy visited them to see how they were doing. Of course, Timmy wasn't enjoying his company, so he politely asked him to leave, but he didn't, and it was starting to bother him on this, so he and Jimmy started to have a fight. So they're just both, like, third-wheeling over the same group. Timmy and Cindy are hanging out, and Jimmy's like, hey guys, what's up? I'm here too.
Cindy is so beautiful.
She will be mine, Timmy Turner.
Her beauty transcends dimensions. It would be tragic, really, if she were to die, unfortunately.
Timmy, I found a way to kill Fairly Odd Parents. I'm a scientist, I know these things.
Well, I found a way to kill her.
And Cindy tried to intervene, but then it happened. She died when her neck was accidentally twisted.
You were right.
Accidentally.
Accidentally twisted by force.
Oh, and Cosmo, I wish you'd break her neck.
Cosmo, I wish I was strong enough to break her neck.
You got it.
Like, Timmy, I don't know if that's not against the rules, but please don't if I grant this wish. He's like, I won't.
Timmy, please! Of all the things I've been made to do, don't make one of them be murder!
Oh, and trust me, for the both of them, there is a saying, and that is, actions have consequences. And for the both of them, this was the start of a civil war that would change their lives forever, and nothing would ever be the same for the both of them from that point forward. Is it a civil war if they're not connected in any way?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure a civil war is a fight between a joint faction.
In a community, yeah. What the fuck?
The pressure is on. Ever since then, well, the pressure on both Jimmy and Timmy only got worse. Because for Jimmy, he was no longer likable because he would get called a murderer, and yes, his friends were done with him, and that makes sense since Cindy is gone and they thought it was his fault all along. And even Libby doesn't want to be around him anymore, and she would rather see him burn in hell for what he did to Cindy. Oh, and his parents thought having him as their son was a mistake because they should have had a girl instead. So,
Holy fuck!
a girl wouldn't have caused this. A girl wouldn't have fallen for Cindy's beauty.
It really would have been an accident then.
So really, his life had been in hell ever since he knew he wanted to end Timmy once and for all. Meanwhile, for Timmy, well, his life was also going through hell too ever since Cindy died. And even worse, he lost his fairies and he could no longer ask for longer ask for wishes anymore.
I think he deserves
and that
it, honestly.
totally sucked for him.
Yeah, sucks for Timmy.
Yeah, damn, poor guy.
Got
No.
away with murder and all he did was use his magic powers.
Now it became clear that both of them wanted to end this once and for all. And they would
Timmy's
be able.
defenseless now.
He's lost his fairies more times than once, and he's been totally fine.
You're right.
And they would be able to, but what they didn't know was that the other two were about to hear about this, and they knew that they had to end it now before it's too late. The other two hear about the news.
Who are the other two?
Would you like to know?
I would.
Now, as for SpongeBob and Danny, they weren't aware about the death of Cindy until they saw the news about it, and they knew it was Jimmy and Timmy's fault, and they
What
knew they had to
news?
stop.
They weren't aware until Danny saw her ghost.
The Battle for Volcano Island news channel.
Oh, okay, fuck this.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
That's the Nicktoons Unite. It's the first one when they're on the volcano island or whatever.
Oh my lord.
I got that rented from Blockbuster.
And they knew it was Jimmy and Timmy's fault, and they knew they had to stop this once and for all. But of course they wanted to wait until the time was right because they wanted to find the right place to end it. And when they learned that they will be doing the final battle in an abandoned factory, so they then wasted no time and got there as fast as they could. Oh, and what they were about to do next? Well, there is no going back.
More accidental neck breaking.
The final battle. When the time came, Jimmy and Timmy were in the abandoned factory, and now is the perfect time to end this once and for all, like the end of Death Note.
Well, yeah.
And really, they didn't waste any time at all when they started the final battle. They wanted to end this for good. But what they didn't know was that Danny and SpongeBob were waiting for the right moment to strike. And of course, when the time did come, they helped end this once and for all. Oh, and there is no going back from what they were about to do next. He said that line at the end of like every page.
Seriously.
Taking care of business. Just then, SpongeBob and Danny came out to finish this once and for all and took both Jimmy and Timmy by surprise. Danny took care of Jimmy while SpongeBob took care of Timmy, and yes, it was tough, but they had no other choice and they did the right thing in ending this.
That's horrifying.
And
What are
yes,
they doing?
and yes, it was tough on both of them, but they also knew they wouldn't want to let the two get away with murder. So really, ending this once and for all was the only choice left. And once it was done, then they then left and never looked back on this ever.
Are they going to admit to that these people also killed them or what?
I really don't like that they're keeping what they did in mystery, like it happened off camera.
They charged in. SpongeBob took care of Timmy, and Danny took care of Jimmy.
You just hear that.
There's just things happen, but they don't happen at all. What comes next for them? Now, as for what comes next for them, well, they would stay in contact with each other just in case anything else bad ever happens. For SpongeBob, well, he is now friends with Periwinkle and has gotten better with life ever since then. As for Danny, well, he's in charge of making sure the ghosts are under control. Oh, and as for justice for Cindy's death, well, justice was well served because they have been waiting for justice since the tragic death. So really the Civil War was over, and thankfully not another war ever came, for now at least, and that would be rather preferred. The end.
Okay.
It was written by like a robot. Every chapter ended with like, what happens next? They'll never be able to live it down. What happens next? They'll never be able to forget this.
I don't like that SpongeBob killed a child. He has blood in his sponge.
I rate that a never-ending story.
I rate that an ending story because it ended.
I rate that the end of Cindy, Jimmy, and Timmy's story.
Oh no, you're right.
Well,
Is there like some underlying tension in the Nicktoons Unite game with like Jimmy, Timmy, and Cindy or something?
Well, in Jimmy Timmy Power Hour 2, they fought over Cindy.
yeah.
Don't you remember at the end, they had the dimensional prom party and they kept pulling her back and forth from 2D to 3D?
Oh yeah.
And she's like, you boys, you want a piece of this coochie? And they go like, uh-huh. And she's like, mm-mm-mm.
And
Then
The
Libby
li-
comes in and goes, mm-mm-mm.
then during the grabbing, one of them accidentally grabs her by the head and breaks her neck.
Yeah, and then it just cuts to this fan fiction read by a robot voice.
The dimensional splits, the dimensional split disappears right where her neck was.
Power hour.
So her head upward is in 2D and her bottom half is in 3D, and she just like got twisted up like a corkscrew.
Imagine her casket with the body in it. This 3D body with a 2D head.
Power Hour 3, the final chapter.
There was a Power Hour 3, idiot.
There was?
They had the Jerkinator.
I didn't know there were 3.
Was it the final chapter?
They didn't make a 4, so technically.
There you go.
But it was called,
Ah,
it had the Jerkinator. They both made a villain they wanted to fight, and they're like, we're bored now. So the villain just died.
Was the villain a hyper-realistic drawing of Butch Hartman tweened around in 3D?
Yeah, can't imagine man fucking their gross CG.
He's just smiling and a voice box out of his stomach says, "Bye, Oaxis."
Bioaxes. It's been so long, I can't remember that one.
Speaking of Oaxis, did you see how Butch Hartman watches his own cartoons on Kiss Cartoon?
Yeah, that was so funny.
We were talking about how he could just buy Kiss Cartoon and then Kiss Cartoon would be out of legal trouble, the creators, and Butch
Kiss
Hartman...
Cartoon could call it Oaxis and have every cartoon on a streaming service.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Butch Hartman could just buy it and turn it into Oaxis, and then both their problems would be solved.
Child-friendly content.
They've got Producing Parker. Everyone's favorite cartoon.
We have all of your favorite cartoons, like Steven Universe the movie.
Which Hartman has personally watched every episode of every show on Kiss Cartoon.
And the Lion King live action. Disney Plus ain't got shit on me.
They interview him and he's like, yes, my Kiss Cartoon, Oaxis has every movie the day it comes out in theaters. It is the ultimate streaming service. And it's free. Just don't use ad blocker, please.
Using my using my popular movie streaming service, the Hartman Cam. It's him in a damn theater, a live feed from his cell phone.
Just go to kisshartman.tv.
Kiss Hartman! Gross! I don't wanna.
I love this. What is this? Oh,
It's Producing Parker.
Oh, I've never seen that.
The show sucks. It's an early 2000s adult cartoon.
Oh, damn.
And she's the only character that looks good.
But she does.
Me and Devin scrolled through watch cartoons and stuff and just found that and said, this sucks. And that's it. That's the story.
That's a good place to find new things that sucks. Lest we forget the one evening we decided to watch Popeye
It's the man who hated laughter.
laughter.
I almost said the fake one you made up.
Popeye hates Rich Alvarez.
Is that still up in your living room?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
I also just realized something. In this podcast there's a guy named Pie Guy Rules, and I'm pretty sure he's Mr. Enter's editor.
Gross. It's 2 hours long. They're talking about Jimmy Neutron.
Jesus
Gross.
Just like us.
Suck.
Cosmodor is like the guy who makes the remember Boink was a thing?
Oh, I turn it off. I hate I'm gonna fuck with this man. Where's the controller? How do you report on PS4?
I apologize to the listeners who are still listening because we didn't finish the podcast yet. We got really distracted and off topic.
Kiss Hartman is a combination of Kiss Cartoon, Kiss Anime, Kiss 1, 2, 3 movies.
Steven just YouTube heroed somebody live on the podcast.
I reported them for hateful and abusive content.
You don't even know who they are.
I hate
I know who they are.
Cosmodor.
They deserve it.
Well, Steven, what are we going to do next time?
Let's see here.
You were supposed to have this all thought out.
Shit, you're right. Let's see here. Our next. Our next
You better not
topic.
pick something shitty that has like 6 crossovers.
Let me check.
I'll get the cake.
You've got cake. Well, I think of the thing.
Okay.
George, name all the services that Kiss Hartman will combine.
Kiss Hartman will have Producing Parker.
No. Not shows.
Kiss Hartman will have Honey Nut Cheerios, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Oreo O's, Thin Mint cereal,
I'm mad because you're.
Shrek cereal, Breaking the Rules on PS2, Breaking the Rules on GBA, Shadow Showdown on PS2, Nicktoons Unite, Nicktoons Battle for Volcano Island, Steven Universe the movie, Steven Universe the YouTube poop,
YouTube poop. Butch Hartman makes a YouTube poop on Kiss Cartoon.
he didn't make it. Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho, English dub.
Our next topic is The Simpsons.
Whoa, we've
Whoa.
never done The Simpsons.
Interesting. Here's your cake, everyone.
That is a powerful aroma coming from that.
That smells good. Ugh. At least to me, anyway.
Like, it smells good, but it smells a lot.
Yeah, it does smell strong.
Okay, we're gonna eat birthday cake. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Have a good night.
Share it with your friends. Share it with your enemies. Tell them if you like this podcast, then we probably won't get along, but give it a try anyway.
Share it with us.
Share it with us. Comment.
We're friends.
Like. Subscribe. Rate this video. Follow us on LinkedIn.
Copy a link to this video.
MySpace.
Go on the official podcast and comment you want to see George, Blue Breed, and Virgil Vlogs.
Copy a link to this video and send it to the official podcast email and say never talk to these men. They will berate you and never leave you alone for the rest of your life.
Follow Moist Critical on twitch.tv and comment for him to listen to our podcast on his Twitch stream.
Go to twitch.tv/moistcritical and comment, Ken Crossing the Line, have your podcast account. They really need the views.
Send them your PS3 login and they won't give it back.
Tell them
Send us your PS3 login and we won't give it back.
give us your car info so we can sell it for you on Craigslist.
Don't renew your license plates. It's a scam.
Check out Producing Parker on kisshartman.net. Bye!
Bye!